Hi, this is Bruce with Z Group Energy in Coolidge, Arizona. Today is February 12th, 2019, and I got some questions for you. One big question, anyways. Uh, does the Paris Agreement work? You ever wonder about that? You know, the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, the UNFCCC, was established in 1992. That was followed by 1997's Kyoto Protocol. Remember that? And it ultimately led us to 2015's Paris Agreement, didn't it? And so, we should ask ourselves, we could ask ourselves, what progress has the United States made since 1992 in alternative energy gains? Well, the answer is not much. Which then begs the question, well, if we didn't get much, what did we spend? How much did we spend? Okay? Now, there's a written version of this where I go into some detail about the money spent, and I'm going to not bore you with all of that. If you're interested, please check the narrative version of it. But in short, okay, since fiscal year 1993 through fiscal year 2014, the U.S. government has spent about $166 billion on climate change. Now, that includes all sorts of things. That's climate science, it's various forms of tax credits and so forth. It's on a number of different things, okay? But the total spent is $166 billion. And unfortunately, we don't really know how much has been spent on climate research, on energy research since 2014, because Washington, D.C. has such horrible accounting practices, we can't even verify it. We don't know, all right? As American citizens, we don't even know anymore how much the government spends on all this stuff. It's not audited. It's not tracked. We don't know whose pocket it goes into. But we know that the average from 93 to 2014 was about $8 billion bucks a year, okay? Wow, what did we get for that? Well, let's look at solar. We're not even going to talk about wind, okay? Because wind is so notoriously inefficient. Why even bother, okay? It's I shouldn't say that. It is kind of efficient. It's up in the 30% range, but it's unreliable because the wind doesn't always blow. Anyway, 2019's most efficient solar panels are rated at just over 22%. Okay, between 22 and 23% efficiency. But most panels average in the range of 15 to 17%. All right. Now, researchers are claiming lab results with efficiencies as high as 46%, but they admit that the exorbitant material cost of the exotic materials in those panels is financially prohibitive for any practical application. If you go back in history, remember Bell Labs, Bell Laboratories? Well, in 1954, Bell Labs started producing solar panels that were rated at an efficiency of about 6%. Okay, so in 65 years, nearly 3/4 of a century, our tens of billions of U.S. climate change dollars have netted we, the people of Main Street, gains in solar panel efficiency of 14%. All right? An average increase of 0.2%. That's 0.2% annually. I can't. How on earth How on earth do solar panel designers manage to stay on anybody's payroll with this kind of a track record, with this pathetic failure? Well, the distressing answer is unaccountable government subsidies. Okay? Apparently, failure pays very well in the green industry, but I digress. In light of this, how do we as citizens not ask if continued U.S. government subsidization of this catastrophic development failure is waste or fraud? Now, I don't attend the meetings, so I don't know. But in any case, the American people are getting hosed, okay? These billions of tax dollars, they're not even tracked. They're not audited. As I mentioned earlier, we have no idea whose pockets these billions of climate change dollars are disappearing into, but clearly they are not spent on legitimate, usable, practical alternative energy research. You think maybe we should consider changing that? Now, don't think I'm defending fossil fuels here because, okay, I'm not. Coal-fired power plants using the modified Rankine thermodynamic cycle, they're only rated in the 32 to 42% range, okay? That's nearly triple the efficiency of a solar panel, but it's still horrible, isn't it? Plus the pollution, blah, blah, blah. You know the story. I don't need to get into it. In today's world, solar energy runs from a low of around 21 cents a kilowatt hour to a high of around 35 cents a kilowatt hour. Onshore wind energy is running about 17 cents a kilowatt hour. But as I mentioned, it's notoriously unreliable. Natural gas runs about 7 cents a kilowatt hour, and conventional geothermal about 8 cents a kilowatt hour. Now, my question for Washington, D.C. is, and I hope your question too, is why are green energy advocates not pushing for testing of supercritical geothermal energy via already patented closed system technology capable of producing electricity for about 4.5 cents per kilowatt hour with an environmental emission, if you want to call it that, of clean water, nothing else. Okay? So closed system, supercritical temperature, geothermal energy could produce electricity with no emission beyond clean water for about half the cost of natural gas. Currently, our most cost-effective fuel in the generation of electricity. A 3,000 megawatt supercritical temperature geothermal test plant, okay, could be constructed for less than $1 billion in many locations, okay? A new nuclear power plant today would run you probably upwards of $10 billion, okay, to design and construct it. Now, let me ask, what's wrong with us? Are we deaf? Are we dumb? Are we blind? Do we enjoy being hosed? I mean, $166 billion could have provided more than 160 new supercritical temperature geothermal power plants, producing more than 480,000 megawatts of electricity every hour of every day, and the only emission would have been some clean water, which we could recycle, by the way. Instead, we have 65 years of expensive, catastrophic failure since 1992 And the sad truth is, that's in the U.S. The rest of the world is doing worse, with most countries not able or not willing to contribute anything at all toward alternative energy research and development. So, no, N-O, the Paris Agreement is not working. But it could work if the silent majority, that's us, the folks who pay the bills, if the silent majority weren't quite so silent. The choice is ours, okay? We're going to have to demand that our money be spent more wisely. Now, if you're tired of getting hosed by your own government and would like to learn a little more about producing clean, cost-effective energy in terms of the Paris Agreement objectives, because they seem like good objectives, don't they? Please pay us a visit at www.zgroupenergy.com. And again, thanks for listening, and have a great day.